if we want to get a revival of some sort of Woody Wesley connection now, I feel like we could still get that going. It's still going to be gold. It's just touching my damn heart. What diner has a piano, Steve? That's what I'm saying.
In 1985.
Every place that they go has a piano.
I love skinny dipping.
He's got a chicken drumstick on his head and some sort of like Band-Aid on his butthole.
Happened in the 90s.
I'm a nice man.
So, in the 70s, Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, they did some great comedies. And then in the 80s, Eddie, he had some great comedies, man. As far as like, having the black white buddy comedy duo. He did some stuff with Dan Aykroyd, Trading Places, and then him and Judge
Hell yeah.
Rhino. They were a great duo. Would you say White Man Can't Jump is the greatest of that in the 90s?
I mean, it has to be. There's no other real. I mean, I guess you could say like Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. It's not white and black dudes, but yeah, it might be one of the best ever. To be honest with you,
It might be one of the best ever.
It's that good, Steve. I mean, no shame to any of those. I mean, Pryor and Gene Wilder, the
Classics.
greatness that they got, and if you think about how like the premises weren't that great either, like a blind guy and a deaf guy, that could be a shit movie, but they killed it.
Yeah, and that was in the 80s. Yeah, See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
What a great team. It seems like something that if you just saw those two guys just in reality together, you'd be like, oh, they probably wouldn't get along. But what a great team, dude.
They actually didn't get along.
They didn't? I thought they actually loved it. Like, I thought Gene Wilder, like, really had a lot, like, a love for Richard Pryor, but maybe not.
I think they might have gotten it right before Richard passed, man. But, there was a time when they did get along. But over time, Richard was just too much, bro. He was too much, man. And, he was too much for a lot of people, not just Gene Wilder, but.
Yeah, Pam Grier also.
Pam Grier.
Yeah, I mean, definitely I could see where it would be a little bit of a shitty hang every once in a while in some of those parts. But, I mean, I don't know. It does suck that they didn't have, it got estranged or there was some tension there. But when you watch those movies, dude, that's just two all-stars just killing it. And it's like a perfect combination. They just work so well together.
And the same thing with White Man Can't Jump, man. I don't think they hit their full stride at that point. Woody, he was already known. The same with Wesley. New Jack City had just came out. He was in some Spike movies. Superstars in the making, bro.
I think they both got to flex something that you didn't see that they were like in their established careers at that point. Like Woody was kind of just. I mean, I'm assuming that he did some drama, but he was Woody from Cheers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't as much dramatic. I know White Man Can't Jump. It's like a lot of comedy too, but he got to flex that and get to show his b-ball chops too, which I love.
I'm not too familiar with their story. I remember hearing that they actually had a falling out too, Woody and Wesley.
I bet honestly, like just there was probably a lot of ego there. I think they're both just like they're both movie stars, dude. I think they just end up butting heads at some point because that's just a big dick flex at that. At some point, you're like, dude, I'm better than you. But it worked. It worked twice, Steve, at least. I mean, Money Train, let's not fault them for that. I enjoyed that movie.
It worked thrice because they were in a movie in the 80s called Wildcats where they were on a football team coached by Goldie Hawn. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yes.
What's the movie called?
Wildcats.
It wasn't Unnecessary Roughness or whatever?
You're thinking about Scotty Backs, man. Scotty Bakula. But no, Wildcats in the 80s, man. And Goldie Hawn, she was their football coach.
That's tight. There was probably a little Brazers style videos being shot on the on the back lot. Dude, Goldie, a three-way with Goldie, Woody, and fucking Wesley.
I don't think Kurt would approve of that.
WGW. That was a weird, like, it was a weird kind of movie. There was a couple of those movies where it's like a lady's gonna coach a male basket, and hey, go for it. But it's just especially at the time, you know.
They're going to vacation and rent a house at a dead guy's house.
But then again, there was movies where a kid got a baseball team and was coaching a major league baseball. So I don't know what's more weird or not, but you know, Eddie
Stranger Things.
wasn't Eddie one? Wasn't that one? Wasn't that the one
Ed,
with Whoopi?
Whoopi, yeah.
Yeah. Strange writing in the 80s and 90s, but I'm here for it. You know, if we want to get a revival of some sort of Woody Wesley connection now, I feel like we could still get that going. It's still going to be gold.
They're still with us.
Yeah. Hey, maybe just do a weed business. Wesley, get into the weed business. Get some Nino Brown like style weed out here in the streets and just take it back to the 80s.
Nino Brownies.
Mm. We're here. The marketing's already there.
You hear that, Wesley? I know you watching. This is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Jordan 12s and your WrestleMania 13 tapes. Cause you're gonna wait till Fat Boy, wait till tomorrow. Dun-dun-dun-dun. You're gonna wait till Fat Boy, wait till tomorrow. Do-do-do-do.
Fuck yeah, dude. Shout out to Jordan because I didn't like them when I was young, and then he showed me that album and more of Silverchair, and I'm a huge fan now.
J Nuts. Today, my friend, we're talking all things March 27th in the 90s. Starting off in 1991, Quantum Leap is airing season 3, episode 15, Piano Man, 11/10/85. Sam is a piano player who was on the run from a killer with an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, this is wild, Steven. Before we get into the episode, I do want to say I'm finding that they play fast and loose with the amount of talent that Sam gets when he jumps into somebody else's body. I feel like sometimes he inherits talent from the person that he's in their body. Like I feel like Elvis, he figured it out a little bit. Dr. Ruth, he got his sexy on eventually, but he still had some of their skills. Here, Steve, he just jumps into, he's fully killing the ivories in this. He's a
Is that little Richard over there?
I know. So I just want to point that out. Still love the show, but you know, I feel like there's some inconsistencies in that part of it. Yeah, he leaps into this body. He's hitting some keys. He's in like a nice little dark, smoky room. It's that classic like lounge lizard act, Steve.
Yeah. And he's got this lady sitting next to him, and she invites him back to her place. Says, play that song we wrote. Do it for me.
And it's called Somewhere in the Night, Steve. It's pretty emotional. It's a good song.
And he's belting it.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got it. Everybody's, I mean, in this place, it's not filled with people, but the people that are there, they all put their drinks down. They all put their heroin needle down because they're enraptured in this song. And then we see like this homely looking blonde chick in the audience who just looks like one of my friend's moms from the 90s. She's not like a hottie. She's not a barfly. It's just some lady. But she's loving this. She's touched just like everybody else. And she walks up and seems to know this guy that Sam has jumped into his body. She's like, oh, you put lyrics to it. So she might have heard this song in the early days, Steve. It seems like there's some history here.
Why didn't you say goodbye? Why did you just walk away out of my life?
So this turns out to be a woman named, I think, Lorraine. Lorraine, I think, was the hot, sultry, like, songstress that went with this lounge lizard guy that we eventually find out.
They were a duo.
Yeah. So she loses it. She spazzes out. Then that other chick, the newer chick, the like kind of sluttier chick, if I'm being honest with you. I think she almost slaps Lorraine because she's spicy like that.
She tells her to shut up and let him play.
Yeah, the new girl, Janelle, spicy, probably got a couple of, has to get a couple of penicillin shots every once in a while because she's out here. But yeah, so we're here. Sam's caught in this body. He doesn't really know who he is yet. Al hasn't shown up. He's sitting here trying to figure this out. And one other thing we find out about Lorraine as we're just watching this unfold is she is clumsy as shit, Steve. This woman will destroy glass bottles. God forbid you have some kind of an award someplace or like an urn with some ashes because she's going to destroy it.
She's a klutz.
Yeah, she knows it, but she just basically, like you said earlier, Steve, she's like, why'd you leave?
Yeah.
Why'd you walk out of my life?
And as people are leaving, she's sitting next to Sam telling him that like she's engaged now to a guy named Carl Morgan and he's very successful. And that's when Al pops up and he's just like, well, dude, why is she sitting next to you then?
Yeah.
He's that good.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's thinking that. She thinks that Chuck, who we find out is this guy's name, that's why this show is hard to talk about. So Sam is now Chuck, okay, the piano player, but we're talking about Bakula. Al's, like, sitting here doing the beeps and boops on his little future Game Boy. And Lorraine's basically just going through her. She's got to get it out. She's like, you know what I think happened? I think you didn't want to marry me and you left, basically.
He got cold feet.
Al kind of, as this is going on, is like, okay, you're Chuck Danner. Something's weird here, though, because my little thingy majiggy is, I'm not getting any other information. Chuck Danner's not pulling anything up. So let me go unplug this, talk to Ziggy, get a couple of smokes in. I'll be right back. Basically, now that the Rain's moved on to this new guy, she's here. I think Chuck's like, look, I got a show to do, so if you want to like have a conversation about this, let me finish the show. But there's a lot you laid on me. So she's like, fine, I gotta go call Carl because she's a nice lady. But here's my thing, Steve. As soon as she says this, if I'm Carl and we see this, I'm like, bitch, get in the fucking car and get back here. What's happening?
Really? That's what you would do?
You sucking this egg? I mean, I would be assuming she's here to get the sex from the ex, Steve, as like the big guy. You know what I'm saying?
I would just leave, bro.
Steve,
I
they're
would,
in love.
like if like fuck your ex. Like there's no reason for you to be talking to that dude. That's how I look at it.
I mean,
Man.
that's facts. I'm just saying in this where we're at now, I guess they had an agreement, but she's gonna go call this guy. You know what I'm saying?
They had an agreement.
She calls him. She's like, Carl, I'm okay. Pussy's untouched. I'm just sitting here. Carl's like, okay, well, let's, okay, come back. She's like, no, I have to finish this. She keeps like elongating this hang. Carl's a pilot, we find out. So this motherfucker could fly to you and just, blow up the whole spot, possibly do a kamikaze mission or something. But, Lorraine's that kind of chick, Steve.
She's there so that she can see if there's still something there.
Yeah. Sam continues the set. And while he's playing the rest of this set, Lorraine is just being a creep. If I don't know who this chick is, I'm like, this chick is just staring at me. Like, I'm either going to get stabbed or like, molested. Weird vibe. And again, Sam's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here, really. This chick's weirded me out. As that ends, we do find out through Lorraine that Chuck's actual last name is not it's not Danner.
He changed it.
Yeah, he had to change it. His actual last name was DiNardo. He says that that's crazy to even see him here because he fucking thought lounge acts were hacks, that they were just worthless musicians. So this is a huge 180 for her. She can't handle it, Steve.
And we also find out that Sam, as Chuck, he was supposed to get signed to a record deal. And then the plan was get signed and then marry Lorraine. And a bartender, a friend of Chuck's, he asked if he can borrow the keys to the car. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So as we find out about this whole Joey DiNardo deal, we hear a boom.
Yeah. Yeah. And it turns out this exact thing actually happened to Chuck back in the day, and that's why he had to change his name. Somebody tried to bomb his car in New Mexico, I think they said.
Yeah.
Um, but he just basically gave his keys to his buddy and signed this guy's death sentence because those people are dead, Steve.
My thing is this: so that guy doesn't matter.
I mean,
Like,
Al's just not quick enough. The DiNardo thing fucked up the Game Boy, and he didn't have the facts right away, Steve.
oh, that's what it was. They call Al slipping, huh?
I mean, that's chalk that one up to Ziggy and Al because that's really their fault. So it doesn't fall into the quantum leap. Like that's not Sam's fault. He's here to help Joy or Lorraine or whatever. So that's crazy. There's two dead people. The one spicy chick and his boss or his buddy, they're dead.
Yeah.
Doesn't really,
Yeah.
Sam's like, I didn't know those fucking people.
I'm here to save Lorraine. That's just sad.
Yeah. But Lorraine's now caught in the midst of, I guess, like some kind of a hit. Whoever was chasing Chuck before obviously knows where he's at now. Lorraine found him.
And one of them might be this guy that just comes out of nowhere, guns a blazing like Desperado.
And he doesn't hesitate. He is an assassin, Steve. This guy hits Sam. I mean, there's no missing. This isn't like Walker where the guns are flying, like the bullets are flying, but nobody's getting hit. Sam takes one to the leg immediately.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
caught
oh,
one.
shit. Like, get out of here. So they now are on the run. Lorraine's caught up. Carl, her new husband, has he has no idea of this yet, maybe, but Al informs Sam in this whole shebang that he's actually changed history. Turns out that murder back in the day, the mobsters were trying to kill him, and now they're trying to kill Lorraine now that she's come back. So somehow he's changed history to make this happen, and shit's all fucked up at this point, Steve.
And Lorraine, she's at the wheel, can't drive because she's distracted. They almost get hit by a semi, and it's just like, shut up and drive, bitch. The guy.
I don't want to say anything real stereotypical, but I mean, Lorraine, let's just say the fairer sexes aren't the best drivers at some point. And she's no Mario Andretti, Steve. She's not even the guy in the pits because she didn't even fill the tank up. And this is where I'm starting to get real annoyed with Lorraine, where I'm like, you know what, Sam? Maybe it's better for the world if you just ditch this broad and just get the fuck out because she's a drag. You know what I'm saying?
Somehow they dodged the guy that was on their ass, and so they hitch a ride with some cowboys, and the cowboys, they take them to a diner, and Sam's there playing the piano. Everybody's loving it. The waitress is loving it. The cowboys, they're even acknowledging it.
It's just touching my damn heart. What diner has a piano, Steve? That's what I'm saying.
In 1985.
Every place that they go has a piano, conveniently, but Chuck's ready for it. He's the man on the mission, and he can entertain people with a bullet wound to the leg. Nobody's even acknowledging that.
Yeah, no hobble.
Yeah, bro, there's blood falling. Like, this ain't a Waffle House or BG. This is straight up a diner someplace. Yeah, so they're here. And now Lorraine's using this time not to like call her man that she actually has. Now she wants to have some quality time with Chuck and teach me that song. Teach me strangers in the night. I mean, I want to find out who wrote this, Steve, because you know what? There are songs they know how to write songs.
They're doing that duet, the chemistry, that magic. It's there, Matt.
You can tell. They're like, why did they break up? What happened?
The diner is rocking, man.
They play Footloose, Steve. They don't just play his song. Then he's like, and get these people a contract. You know,
Kevin Bacon is proud.
Yeah.
Even the waitress suggests y'all ought to get back together.
You guys need a show. We see the magic. We see the chemistry. But then Lorraine has to be a downer again, and she's like, you know what? I'm such a klutz because I think she cuts like the waitress or stabs, like she does something and hurts somebody. But we find out she's a jinx, Steve, and Lorraine even says that she's burnt down her own apartment with some kind of Christmas ornament fiasco. She lost, I think, Chuck's luggage at one point when they went on the trip. She took him to a ski trip, skied into him, broke his freaking legs, Steve. I mean, this woman's, she's cursed.
She literally told the man, "I'm going to get you killed. I'm stupid."
Oh, wait, I got to go call Carl again.
Hold that thought.
Yeah, so cut to Carl. He's always at the airport or like he's at the hangar
The
always.
hangar,
He's
yeah,
got
like
his little thing
GTA or some shit.
and he's on his thing and he's like, "What the fuck? What? Are you on your way home?" She's like, "No, I quick little sidetrack. We got almost assassinated and we're in a diner someplace." And he's like, "Wait, what?"
A mobster's trying to kill you?
Yeah. And he's like, "Wait, cool on all that. Where's Chuck at?" He's real like adamant, like, "Where's Chuck? But where's Chuck? Where the fuck is he?" You know,
But they're referring to him as Joey, though, at this point. Yeah. Yeah. Joey is the cause of all your grief. It's not his fault. I'm a jinx. I want you to come back, Lorraine.
"You've never been a jinx for me, Lorraine. You've only been good luck for me." So Lorraine, even from that love, even from the love of Carl, her new guy, she's like, "You know what? I'm not coming back yet. I gotta wait. I gotta wait for the cops. You know, we gotta wait for the cops. So I'm gonna chill. As soon as the cops get here, I'm gonna say what I need to say, and I'll be home soon, Carl." He doesn't like that, but he's like, "Well, in the eyes of the law, I guess you're right. You gotta give a statement. That makes sense." So
You stupid broad.
yeah. But then cut back to the diner. Al shows up, and I gotta give a shout out to Al in this episode. He's rocking some insane jacket in this that I want to own. It's like it's half Tetris, half Michael Jackson. It's fantastic. But he shows up and he's like, "Yeah, this is all well and good, but now that I know this guy's name, you got 8 minutes until you're dead, according to Ziggy." And he's like, "Wait, what?" Ziggy says, "Get the fuck out of Dodge. We got to do that." They have to figure out a plan. So Chuck's like, or Sam is like, "We got to go someplace they can't find us or something." And don't
Yeah.
they just like decide to go out into the desert, I think.
Out into the desert, and they're talking. She says, I never thought about dying. Not like this. Sam tells her, like, we're not going to die. Shut up. And then they eventually catch a flat tire. Like,
I'd be like, "Okay, you are a jinx. Walk that
yeah,
way. I don't want to."
yeah, get out the car, bitch.
Yeah, and Lorraine starts getting weird and is like, "God, remember our dreams of going to Hawaii and just making out?" It's like, bitch, you're married. Like, are you getting married?
And we're about to die, possibly.
Yeah, I know this is like some kind of weird like Stockholm syndrome thing. Like, I'm not necessarily the hostage guy, but you know, there's some weird shit going on. I get that. But Lorraine, not only is she shitty, she has a flat tire, she's got a flat spare, Steve. So for fuck's sake with this lady.
I think they're at the tire shop at this point. Somehow they made it. They roll into the
On
tire
a
shop
rims. On a rims.
on rims. Yeah, not even bald tires, just straight up chrome. She calls Carl again. He's getting fed up. He's like, "Look, I want Joey to drive you to the airport as fast as he can."
Look, we have a flat, Carl. It's we have to just get a change. I gotta just change my underwear and what? But so, and I also like the energy of the guy at the garage who's just like, "Yeah, I'll fix your tire," but there's no fixing that, dude. He rolled that thing on a rim for like 8 miles. What are you gonna do? Bang out, bang it out? You know, it's gonna
Yeah.
take a while.
And even Al at this point, he's like, he just tells Sam to leave her. Just leave her ass.
Yeah, dude. Like, we don't know this chick, dude. We're from the future. Look at this fly ass jacket I got on. I mean,
Fuck this mission.
dude, I stole this from Jake the Snake Roberts back in the day. Look at this. It's solid gold Jake. But
You know, in GTA, like, there are certain side missions you just ignore.
yeah, this one I would just blow her. I would just push her out the car. If
Yeah,
it's GTA, she'd be a hooker that just gets
yeah.
pushed out the car. Carl's like, drive to this airport, that's not far away from where you're at. I'm going to come in the plane, private style, pick you up and get you away from this guy. And that's fine. So, Al's like, dude, ditch this broad. Sam's sitting there like trying to figure it out. Lorraine's like, look, Carl wants me to go to the airport. I need to get to the airport. And Sam's like, yep, sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
She's like, I just don't want to leave you. It's like, God damn it. I'm trying to get you home. Okay. I need you away from me.
He even brings up examples. What happened to Judd? What about Michael? They all died. Lorraine, I don't want to be with you anymore. I can't believe you said it. And then she just storms off.
It's not my fault Michael died trying to catch a foul ball in a Dodgers game. It was his fault. But, he's done. I'd be done. I would have been done at the diner, to be honest with you. So she takes the car, I think, and speeds off. And as she's speeding off, Sam sees the assassin guy going after her now. He's not in the car anymore. And to be honest with you, if I saw that, I would just kind of see it and not say anything. But he's like, oh, she's going to die. In my head, I'd be like, two birds with one stone here. Let's leap out of here. As soon as she's dead, I guess I'll be leaping. But he can't let that happen. This is Quantum Leap, Steve. He's got to save the day.
So he takes off in the tire guy's truck and chases after him.
And he has a gun too somehow. I guess the tire guy had a big ass gun that he just took too. But that guy, you're down a gun and a truck now, dude. And
He's a business owner. It's tough. A must.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, he does own like a junkyard type thing. So maybe, instead of a dog, he's got a gat. At some point now, it's been clear as day. But now that they're getting in this car chase, it's foggy as shit, Steve. Everything's foggy. Everything's smoky. I couldn't figure that part out. But it's tough driving out there.
Are they in San Francisco all of a sudden? And Al tells Sam, like, she gets killed by a camper unless you can change that.
Yeah, take this Model T truck that you stole that's fucking 20 years older than anything else on the road.
Fucking Ford Edsel.
Catch up to that assassin. So Sam does just that, Steve. He puts pedal to the metal. He catches up to the assassin. They get in a whole, chariot race thing going. They're hitting each other. They're jerking the wheel. And it's so smoky that eventually Sam, smokes. He puts, a smoke screen out. And the driver, the assassin, he's killed by a semi, Steve. Shit just, he goes right into one. He's dead. And Al says, all good now. Truck driver lives. I mean, that guy's dead, clearly. But Lorraine, she still dies. Fucking goddamn it, Al. You could have left that out, Fuck it. You don't need to tell him everything.
Let's head to the hoe house now.
Yeah, dude. I know where we're going after this. Okay, you want to go. But we're back with Carl and Lorraine now. Lorraine makes it to the airport. Carl's there. She's telling him everything that happens, and Carl's could give a fuck less. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're fine. Where's Joey? Where the fuck is this guy? And honestly, even with my suspicions, this makes sense anyway, because I'd want to whoop Joey's ass if I'm Carl. Fuck him. Did you guys have sex? It smells like sex on you.
And we also find out that Lorraine's body was found in a desert. But who killed her?
This doesn't make any sense. Sam realizes what's going on. He hightails it to the airport because he's got that Model T. He shows up, and now we find out Carl, Steve, his name's not Carl. It's Nicky Bellini. Okay? He's been using Lorraine to get the Joey /Chuck/Sam. We got 3 different names for one character, Steve.
Yeah, it's confusing.
He's playing the long game. He hired an assassin. He's been trying to get Joey. Now he's got Joey into sights. Lorraine's none the wiser because she's an idiot. And yeah, this is where it all goes down, Steve. Everybody's cards are on the table. Lorraine can't believe it. She's like, I thought you loved me.
if I'm not mistaken, we start this standoff with Carl not having a gun and Sam having a gun.
Yeah. Well, because he's got her in like a gorilla monsoon. Like he's
Right.
like, I'll break her neck. I'd be like,
But
I'm just gonna shoot you both in the legs, and then she'll recover.
yeah, and I understand he has her in the sleep hold, but Sam still has a gun.
Yeah. And then the guy, he's like, I'll fucking do it, dude. And so he makes Sam give him the gun, which, I mean, if I'm Al, I'm like, dude, what? This thing is telling, like, I told you this bitch is crazy.
You're a fool.
So now everything is jostling, everything's happening. Carl slash Joey or whatever, Nikki or whatever the fuck, he's about to kill everybody. I think Lorraine's the one that does this. She's like, no. And she might have clumsily done it or did it on purpose, but she hits a couple of levers and drops like an engine block or something. Like, I'm not a mechanic, Steve. I don't know what the fuck it was, but
A huge car part.
problem solved. I mean, you couldn't even think. There's no math you could have done on his little fucking keypad to figure that one out. Ziggy had no idea, but the mob's gone. Nikki Bellini dead. Assassin dead. Chuck, Lorraine, they're sitting here, and now there's nothing holding them apart. The guy, I mean, she was been had by a mobster for a couple years. She's been sucking mob dick, and now it's time to get to Hawaii, Steve.
And get married.
Yeah, just like they dreamed. It's time to have that lounge act. And that's exactly what happens. Al tells him, like, you get your lounge act together, you end up in Hawaii just like you dreamed. Sam kisses Lorraine and then leaps. He leaps, Steve, out of that and into what I can only call heaven. He's being just sexually harassed by hotties of all ages. And it just seems like, to me, I would never go, like, I would be like, Al, stop, we're good.
There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house.
Did I go to heaven? Like, I finally leaped into heaven. But yeah, dude, he's in, I don't know what you would call this.
A brothel.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, a brothel. And it seems like I would love to see what he looks like, but he's, just enjoying himself. He goes from a kiss to maybe more than that right away.
Oh man, yeah, getting his Hugh Hef on.
No blue balls.
Yeah. We miss you, Quantum Leap.
This is great. This is a great show, Steve. Even in this weird one that's not technically the best, it's still fantastic. Some of it makes no sense. Lorraine, God bless, but just stay the fuck away from me. Okay?
I recognize her from the Hugleys. Like I saw that face, like, man, I seen her in something else, and she was the neighbor of D.L. Hughley.
I thought it was Craig T. Nelson's wife from Coach.
The same curly hair. No, she's much older.
Yeah.
But
well, there you go, Steve. Out of a mob hit and into some pussy. We could all be so lucky.
In 1992, Ladybugs premieres. To climb the corporate ladder to success, a guy agrees to catch the company's all-girls soccer team with the help of his secret weapon, his fiance's son. Directed by Sidney J. Fury, starring Rodney Dangerfield, Jack A. Harry, Jonathan Brandis, Renee Graff, and Vanessa Shaw.
I finally got some respect. My stepson needs to learn how to put in a tampon. I tell you.
Oh man!
I mean, this movie, Steve, it couldn't be made now. I'm sure there's some group that would protest it.
Of course.
And this was a laugh riot. I was laughing my ass off. Everybody killed it. Jack A is great in it. This is a perfect Rodney Dangerfield movie.
This is a perfect way. You're being way too kind. And like, R.I.P. to the legend Rodney Dangerfield, man, and R.I.P. to Jonathan Brandis. But oh my God, this is a ridiculous movie. The premise is ridiculous. Everything, like, he's not even sounding like a girl. He's not even trying to sound like a girl. They just put a wig on Jonathan Brandis. He sounds and talks like Jonathan Brandis.
Get in the game.
Like, none of y'all. Like, see, this is what I also at the same time I appreciate about 90s movies, man. Like, you're all supposed to buy into the naivete
Yeah,
and just like go with it, I guess, man, because it's so painstakingly obvious. Like,
Steve. I mean, this is how you climb the corporate ladder in the '90s. I'm a salesman, okay.
you,
I'm right in Chester's shoes right now.
you've been taking notes.
I'm the best salesman in the world, but it's not enough. So what do? I got to coach a girls' soccer team. That's cool, but they suck. So how do I fix that? Hey,
Ugh.
yeah, get over here and put a wig on. It's crazy. I like at the end. The end's perfect because everybody's aware of this, and even his boss, who is just like oddly just into girls soccer and the success of this girls soccer team, is like, hey, did you hear what Chester did?
Yeah,
Like, I heard he dressed up a boy like a girl to do this, and he's the kind of guy I like. I like his moxie. That's the kind of logic we're working with, Steve. That's 90.
that's the
But there's a lot of funny jokes. This is what I like about them. We're just going to go on the positives. There's multiple segments that they set up where it's just meant to get Rodney Dangerfield to say like 5 one-liners, and that's how they end the scene, which I love. Obviously, the weird moments that come with him not only dressing like a woman himself to play Martha, the fake girl's mom, at one point, but
yeah.
there is a scene in the middle of this movie where they have to buy this kid a dress to fit in when he's hanging out, like not on soccer time. So they go to try on a dress in a dressing room. They're in there, and like these people are outside listening, and it's just Rodney Dangerfield's like, come on, you gotta get used to it. And Jonathan Brandis is like, it's just too tight. I can't. He's like, you're gonna start to love this kid. They come out, or he says something like that. They come out, and this woman just faints off of a chair. Steve, it's the most hilarious spit take moment. I actually spit a little liquid out when I saw it, so it
You
doesn't
know,
make sense. But hey, Steve, it doesn't have to. Okay, it's got everything you need. It's even got a happy ending, Steve. He does the. This guy's so successful at Joanna Manning kids sports. He does it again at the end. There could have been a sequel. Let's hit him, girls.
and it's got Jack A. Harry, child,
And Tommy Lasorda, Steve. I mean,
and Tommy Lasorda, and the mom from Mr. Belvedere, Wesley.
oh, Wesley. Putting on a
Wesley.
dress, Wesley? Mm, nice.
But I do appreciate the fact that it gave Rodney Dangerfield a platform to do his thing, man. You know, it even if I think the movie is ridiculous, Rodney Dangerfield is Rodney Dangerfield, man. Can't take anything away from the legend.
No, she's not Two Faced because she'd be using the other one. I don't know how they found some of the actors in it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe I enjoyed it so much because I was expecting me being like, let's just turn this off. I don't want to watch it, but I'm here to say, Steve, like I'm fully endorsing Ladybugs. Watch it. It's a
I can tell, and I would recommend to any Rodney Dangerfield fan to watch it, but it doesn't need to be rewatched. But we move from that sports classic to another in 1992. White Men Can't Jump premiered. Two basketball hustlers, Black Sidney Dean and White Billy Hoyle, joined forces to double their chances of winning money on the street courts as well as in the tournament. Directed by Ron Shelton, starring Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, Rosie Perez, Tyra Farrell, and Kadeem Hardison. It's pretty. It's so pretty.
so pretty. This movie made a huge difference in my life for whatever reason. Like I don't remember the first time I saw it. I remember it was a sick day, Steve. I was able to get some from the library because the mom was feeling bad for me. She got me this, even though it was rated R, and it became just a heavy rotated movie for so long in my life. To this day, I'll watch it anytime it comes on. It's fantastic.
Never gets old, man. I can't believe it was rated R. Is it because of Rosie Perez? Did she show titty in that one scene? I can't
I
remember.
think it was just so close, and there's a lot. They throw a couple of f bombs. You
They
know,
did.
there's a
They
couple.
did.
It's more language, I think. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Steve, that side titty is what brought me to to the party, but the relationship between Woody and Wesley is what kept me there. But that side titty was enormous in my life as a young man.
This is definitely one of my favorite sports movies of all time. Even more so, one of the greatest basketball movies of all time, man. It's got everything I could possibly ask for in a sports movie. Great story, great actors, and it's got my favorite sport.
I mean, and it showcases it well. There's some sports movies where when you're actually watching the sport, it's not done well. But here, it's got style, the slow mo they do. We get to see like the handles that everybody has. I was looking like in my research, one of the guys that was like the instructor for basketball on this movie said like legitimately, and I mean this isn't saying a lot, but that both these dudes got to the point where they could probably have started for like a Division 3 NCAA team. They just got that good.
DeVry.
Exactly. You know, you have
There
to.
you go.
Everything about it. The comedy was great. Once it got to the dramatic part, that was great. Everybody kills this. You know, Rosie Perez kills this. She's very memorable. What's a Queens? They all have memorable moments, you know.
A quahog.
The guy that almost stabs him, I always remember that guy that gets pissed off when they're hustling too hard and he's like, I'm gonna go get my gun. And then he tries to go rob the guy or whatever.
When he goes into the corner store, Ronaldo Ray is the guy behind the counter, and that's the same guy that played Red's dad on Friday. You
Oh,
want some too, old man? That guy, Ronaldo Ray, is another comedic legend, man. R.I.P. to him, man. And a cameo from Alex Trebek, man. Tyra Farrell, we've talked about her before when she was Michelle's teacher on the Full House episode.
yeah.
So fine, and she was Doughboy and Morris Chestnut's mom on Boys in the Hood. There ain't no vista, there ain't no views, and it sure as hell ain't no vista, no views.
She wants to step up, Steve. Also, just to point this out for all those white boys out there, Woody Harrelson was and is significantly better at basketball than Wesley Snipes. Apparently, but they, you know, they're depicted as equals in this movie, Steve. So I just had to give that out, you know, just for Woody's sake.
Yeah, Wesley's a martial artist. His focus was elsewhere.
He's also he can sing too. When you're thirsty. He's got those. He plays Majid Fick music, you know, a little MJ special. But yeah, everything about this movie is fantastic. They tried to redo it. You can't capture the greatness. You're never going to get two guys that are as good as these two to be in a movie like this now. It's got comedy. It's got sexy ass women in it. It's got some action. It's got great basketball in it. And yeah, the beginning, dude, that beginning whenever they're playing on the beach and Woody shows up and he's just like getting all nervous. I dream of having that moment for myself. I'm just not good enough at basketball to pull off a Brady Bunch moment like that. You know what I'm saying? It's so pretty.
Get him the chip.
Yeah, dude, Kadeem kills it. We could do an episode that lasts 4 hours just talking about this movie. It's so good.
Man, that was too easy. Man, that was easy. Man, that was easy. Man, I don't even want to play no more. 1993, Ren and Stimpy is airing season 2, episode 9, The Great Outdoors. Camping at Lakeside Wood, Ren and Stimpy go about making a pleasant camping trip. Faced with dehydrated food, mosquito squadrons, and eccentric skinny dippers, The Great Outdoors shows that it has its share of challenges for the pair.
This is it, Steve. This is one of the weirdest episodes. I think this is actually one that my mom saw that made me not be. She was like, "You can't watch the show." Like, I had to sneak around to watch this. This is a classic. We start off, and it's just time to spend some time in nature, Steve. Ren and Stimpy are animals, but they've been domesticated. So it's every once in a while you just got to get out there. You got to feel the call of nature, the call of the wild.
Feel that air hit those nostrils, man.
Stimpy especially, he's all about it. Ren, as always, pissed. He's not really happy about it, especially when it comes to the food. Stimpy he packed, so Ren's like, man, I'm getting hungry. Where's the Pop-Tarts? Where's this, that at? But Stimpy just brought these weird pills. There's like meat pills, and it's like a very astronaut diet.
Yeah, that's truly disgusting. Red meat thinner pills, ice cream spinach pill, and Cowboy's Delight meal dinner.
Yeah, that's that red meat pill. And instead of asking about it, Ren just snatches that red meat pill up, pops it, but Stimpy's like, "Oh, you got to put that in water first." It's like one of those little pill. Remember those little toys you used to get?
Yeah.
It's like a little foam dinosaur thing. So that's
Or
kind of the
seahorse.
situation we're working on. But unfortunately, Ren didn't know that. He pops the pill, and then basically a horse just appears inside of him. And we get that famous, "No, sir, I don't like that." We get that guy. It's that horse. So I don't know how they're gonna fix that. That's a tough shit, Steve. That's a painful shit that Ren's gonna have to take. There's a lot of shaking that's gonna happen, you know?
And then later they go skinny dipping, or Stimpy, he wants to go skinny dipping. And then Ren's like, "Are you crazy?"
No, he's so bashful, Steve. He's like Jonathan Brandis and Ladybugs when they wanted to go skinny dipping. Weird. That was a weird part of that movie. I
Several
think
weird
as a
parts.
teenager, I don't want to get caught into that. So we're going skinny dipping, Steve. Ren's got to get talked into it, right? Stippy's fully, I mean, he's the full Monty already, but Ren takes his little skin off, throws it on the tree, finally gets in. But unfortunately, Steve, there's somebody else that's really into skinny dipping, Steve. And he's sitting there in the bushes just waiting.
The old man hunger. Yeah.
he's
Skinny dipping? I love skinny dipping.
He's got a chicken drumstick on his head and some sort of like band-aid on his butthole that we see for a second. That was weird. But he loves people who are comfortable in nature. You know, he wants to skinny dip. So he jumps in. He starts skinny dipping with them. They're freaked out. But then he's like, you know who would love this even more than me? Hey, Ma! And fucking Gilbert Grape's mom shows up to skinny dip too, Steve. T-Rex.
A chicken wing updo is crazy.
I mean, I don't know how you asked for that great clips, but shout out, dude. That's good work.
Shenane, that's where you went.
Yeah, hell yeah. Skinny dipping though, we're good. They get out alive. It's time to start a fire. So Ren, being the expert he is, he douses those logs in gasoline. Steve, I mean, you want to get a fire set, that's what you do. But unfortunately, when he does this, he basically just starts his own self on fire.
Like everything within a 50-foot radius, too.
Yeah. Luckily, that naked guy from the lake is there, and he loves skinny stomping, so he starts stomping that fire out. He stomps Ren into just basically like a mud puddle.
And he stirs them.
Yeah.
And makes like a little goo out of Ren.
Yeah, he's got some weak bones. He's got MS or something.
Some dank resin.
You guys want to take some resins? It did look like that. But that night, Ren and Stimpy, they're looking up at the stars. It's that kind of, this is it. This is why you go out there. Just to spend some time with a buddy. And this roughing it stuff's kind of great. Ren's coming around. He's loving it, finally. The skinny guy, the skinny slapping, the fire, it's all behind him. But then, as with what happens when I go camping or go out in nature, the mosquitoes come out, Steve. And Ren's a small dog, so these mosquitoes are quite large, and they start sucking, for lack of a better term.
And it wakes Ren up. He slaps the fuck out of him, goes back to sleep, but now the whole family seeks revenge. So while Ren's asleep, they just attack his ass.
I mean, he's like a pimple that's got pimples on it. So he's one giant herpes sore. And
that shit on your lips got some shit on his lips.
The grossness that comes with like Ren and Stimpy. I love whenever the mosquitoes are looking at Ren on the trees and you see his veins like pulsating. It's very creepy. So we get that part of it too. But yeah, Stimpy is feeling great in the morning. He's fully fine. Maybe he put on some off or something. But Ren, like you said, he looks like a turd with pimples on it. It's gross.
All this outdoor stuff is making me thirsty.
Yeah, so this is camping 101. You don't just dip a cup into some lake water, Steve, but Ren doesn't know that. He wakes up that next morning, he's thirsty, he's covered in bites. But right before he's about to take that sip, Stimpy's like, "No, Ren! Animals do their business in there." It's just true. I mean, that's one reason why you don't want to do it.
If you drink that, you'll get beaver fever.
Beaver fever. Luckily, Stimpy has a jug of water right here just for such an occasion. So Ren's like, cool, that's great. He takes a sip, but then we look a little closer into this very big glass jug of water or whatever, and there's a beaver in it, Steve, son of a bitch. So Ren, he does have beaver fever. He starts turning into a beaver, complete with the tail,
Buck teeth.
buck teeth, the whole shebang. His head kind of changes a little bit. You know, call the doctors, Steve. But there are no doctors, so we got to call the skinny stomping guy again.
I just love skinny slapping.
The beaver fever. But yeah, Ren gets skinny slapped a couple times by a naked guy who also has beaver fever. Clearly, I think he's been fucking him, but you never know.
Yeah, there's another way. Yeah,
it's STD also. But that's it, Steve. You know, we're stuck here. Ren may never be the same, but he'll probably be all right the next episode. You know what I'm saying?
You fat, stupid idiot. This is actually Old Man Hunger's final appearance.
Yeah. Well, I bet there were a lot of complaints of this because there was a lot of kids just seeing this guy going, I love skinny slapping, and he's just twerking, Steve.
Yeah. This episode was based off of a fan-made fan fiction story, something I didn't know, man.
Oh. I want to read that. John K. wrote that. That's John K. After Dark.
Yeah, that's actually the first time an episode is based off of a fan-made fan fiction story.
I love that. That gives you hope, right? We can write a script for something and somebody. That'd be crazy though if you wrote that lunatic shit. You know, like there's no way.
Let's see their other work.
That's probably a homeless guy, Steve. That's what it was. It was basically the guy. It's skinny guy. It's the old man.
Old Man Hunger.
He's got a chicken drumstick on his head.
1995, Silverchair would release Frog Stomp, and this is the one with Tomorrow. Wait till tomorrow.
But dude, Silverchair rocks. Are they from Australia?
They are from Australia, man. So would you say you're a fan?
Hell yeah, I'm a fan, dude. I like that great workout music when you find the right tracks for sure. They were just like not on my like radar. I don't know why. Like maybe it's because they kind of look like Hanson a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Dude, Tomorrow, that shit's, and I mean, little fat me, maybe that's why, because I was like, they're calling people fat boy. I don't like this shit.
Yeah, you thought it was directed at you. Yeah. So it's not just this album either. You like their other work?
I mean, I don't know all their albums, but this one specifically, there's multiple bangers on it, you know, and I know they have other albums with good shit on it too. So yes, and if you're working out and you need some music to like motivate, throw some Silverchair on.
Yeah, the other releases were Pure Massacre, Israel's Son, and Shade.
Pure Massacre, Pure Massacre. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. That's a good ass song too. So I do like multiple albums. But this was the one. This was the one Jordan and I used to like. He put it on. He knew he's the guy that knows like the specific songs to like usher you into a band. It didn't work with Deftones, but it worked with Silverchair for sure. So
damn it.
Yes.
If he can't sell you on Deftones, I definitely don't have a shot.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. Cheap.
But shout out to Silverchair though. Cheap. Finally, 1998, the Food and Drug Administration approves Viagra for use as a treatment for erectile dysfunction, the first pill to be approved for this condition in the United States.
And old men and their limp dicks, thank you. And to be honest with you, how soon after this, because I've never taken an official Viagra, Steve. It's always been some kind of a offshoot. My go-to when I was taking such things wasn't it was the Rhino XL, Steve. I'm running through a wall. I don't need whatever this
Rhino XL. I've done both, man. It doesn't hold a candle to Viagra. I'm talking about rock hard for the next couple days. It doesn't. I mean, it's not like it doesn't go down. It's not like it. Yeah, man. But I'm saying, like, after one go, like you're John Holmes action. Especially Marcus.
Well, I mean, maybe I like to have a little athletic enhancement, Steve. We all do. I don't need it, but I'll tell you, the Rhino, if it's better than
Yeah.
that, I mean, Jesus, my poor wife. I don't know if I want to
Because
even
the
get
thing
one of
is,
those
man, it's not
things.
even just for old folks, man. It's like for people, for dudes who just want to like really put in that work. You know what?
Yeah, that's what it's for. I mean, I guess an old man like wants to put
Yeah.
his dick up. I get it, but yeah, it's really for us youngsters that just really want to. You don't want to miss that opportunity. You want to put your best dick
And
forward. You
and I
know what I'm
know Hugh
saying?
Hefner was keeping Pfizer's lights on.
Yeah, I mean, whoever this is, I hope they're rich. I hope they're happy. I hope they have a hard
Well,
dick. I mean, clearly that's the one thing they probably still have. I guess I'll have to try, Steve. I can only speak on just the Rhino XL, and there was one other pill I got once that scared me. It made my heart feel weird, and I think they said it had the power of 1,000 ants in it. But
that's the market pitch.
I don't remember what it was. Something related to ants, and I feel like that's what it said. It's like the power of 1,000. If one ant can lift 10,000 times its weight, think how many ants can lift your. I don't
Wow.
care. It was something wild, but hey, man, I love it, Mister Viagra.
The
God bless. God.
the any callbacks, honorable mentions, or takeaways?
Um, just hoping to get that Viagra sponsorship for the show at some point. We're saying a lot here. But Steve, let's just go to a '90s quiz. Let's just go. I want you to get 2 out of 2.
I do too.
I want
I do as well.
so. I don't like that one. I feel better about what I just picked. So, Steve, here we go. I forgot to get the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music, but I will do that for next week. This is terrible. Sorry, bud.
Fuck.
In what year was the Good Friday Agreement signed, paving the way for a power sharing government in Northern Ireland?
Jeez. Good Friday. I'm going to say 1994.
Oh, 4 years off, Steve. 98. I'm so sorry. But here we go. We just talked about this actually, or at least about these dudes. What did boxer Mike Tyson do in 1997 when he realized his opponent, Evander Holyfield, was about to defeat him again?
Bit his ear off.
There we go, Steve. You're shooting 1 for 2.
Thank you, question two. Question two always saves me.
Yeah, question 1 is it could be a shit show sometime. Northern Ireland. I mean, we're Americans. The fuck is that?
Seriously, man. Question one is always on some bullshit.
Yeah. Well, Steve, you got one right, and it was the one that really means something about Evander and Iron Mike. So there you go.
One of these days, I just,
You're gonna get it. I feel really good about next week. You know, we'll see. But what about you? What about any callbacks? Any?
man, once again, RIP to Jonathan Brandis and Rodney Dangerfield. I really feel like Jonathan Brandis, man. I hate what happened, man, because I have a feeling that he would have turned it around. Like in my heart of hearts, I just think that as a child actor, he was good, and somebody would like if he would have stayed at it, man. Okay, because at the time that what killed him was he was having just these struggles with his career. He couldn't make that transition from child acting to being an adult. But man, I don't know, man. I think that he was a unsung hero of his time of the '90s, and he was even doing stuff in the '80s.
I don't even remember him having dropped off at all because he was on that show Sequest, and
That was in the '90s.
that was a
I
big thing. I mean, he was still like the kid, but it wasn't like he wasn't getting work. But yeah, dude, it is sad, and that's the tale of those celebrities, man. That '90s like kid stardom, it just wasn't. There was something real fucked up. You know, I feel like maybe they figured it out a little bit better now, where they're not dying.
yeah.
It might get a little wacky, but yeah, this one was that. This was one where I like Jonathan Brandis, so this one actually did kind of. There was a lot of this, but this one hit me a little harder than those other ones.
Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister she's gonna get hers, fat bitch. Fat bitch. Wait till tomorrow. Check out Food Show Fanatics. Crushgasm every Wednesday and our guy Clark the Shark on Podcastle. This is Steve G and Mad G with
Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the flat kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!
Hate it.